So, I was thinking one day, like anyone does, what is the American character and how does Huckleberry Finn fit into that? You know, normal questions. And I just didn't know where to look. So I was thinking, Huckleberry Finn was written by an author, right? Mark Twain. Who knows him better than maybe other authors? So I thought, what if I ask a bunch of authors, some great authors, what they thought the American character was?
Hello, my name is Jonathan Edwards, and I'm here to tell you about how Huck Finn and the adults in the situation are a terrible representation of the American character. To start, Huck Finn. He said, "Oh, I don't care if I go to heaven. I don't care if I go to hell." What? First of all, everyone needs to go to heaven. Their goal in life is to go to heaven. And him, by just saying that, he's gonna burn in hell. He's gonna burn in hell. Number two, he prayed for a fishing pole? No! If you're gonna pray to God, pray for something meaningful. Number two, no adult in Huck's life has taught him the proper way to be successful. I wish I could teach him a thing or two about life, because it's embarrassing and it makes me so angry that he doesn't want to get to heaven. So angry. So the adults will burn in hell as well as Huck Finn will burn in hell. That's all I have to say. Terrible. Terrible.
I am Benjamin Franklin, and I believe that Huckleberry Finn is the true representative American because of a couple different reasons. Now, I actually relate to Huck Finn quite a bit. Both of us ran away from home, you could say, in our adolescent years, and like myself, Huck never gave up and became normal, you know? He kept working, he kept striving to follow his true path. And although he was not a man of religion, eventually his moral compass, his heart, led him to the right place and allowed him to make the right decisions. So this is why I feel a certain connection to Huckleberry Finn, and I believe that he is a true American. Because what are Americans after all but people who follow their heart along a path that not many have trod before them, and yet still manage to find success. And so I believe that Huckleberry Finn is a good example for all of us who may be going through hard times or don't know what our direction in life is. You know, Huckleberry Finn faced all of these struggles and never succumbed to them. He overcame them, and he was greater because of it.
I'm James Fenimore Cooper, and I believe that Huck Finn is the ideal American character because in Huck Finn there's a lot of racism, which we had racism in America back then. And Huck doesn't want to live with the widow and Miss Watson because they have boundaries and rules for him, and he does not want to follow boundaries, which also relates to us as Americans because none of us want to follow rules except for our own. And he doesn't believe in God, which we have that problem here. Some people are atheists, and it just relates to the American idea because we're the same people.
Hello, my name is Ralph Waldo Emerson. I'm an American author from the era of transcendentalism. Over the course of my life, I have made a great name for myself in the world of literature. I know the ins and outs of human morality, and I consider myself an expert on the subject. I believe each and every person is individually important, and everyone plays a role in this world. With that being said, I have been contemplating on what an American truly is. As an American, I have always admired the country and its people. It's a place with freedoms like no other, a utopia of nature where each person can truly play their destined role in the complexities of life. But what really is an American? After reading Mark Twain's superb novel, The Adventures of Huckleberry Finn, it became more clear to me. I was able to make some connections with it and some of the literature I myself have created, such as nature and self-reliance, to come to this conclusion. That conclusion being that the American character is defined by the acquired skill that each American has for resilience, perseverance, and the ability to overcome adversity. The characters Huck, Finn, and Jim sticking together through thick and thin really proved it to me. The portrayal of the two, I believe, perfectly reflects how Americans are willing to work until they are where they want to be. It's extremely admirable, and Huck Finn, in my opinion, is a perfect literary personification of the American character.
I'm William Bradford, and I believe that Huck Finn is not the ideal American character because God gave us this earth, and He is the reason for everything. And Huck Finn does not believe that, and he does not care if he goes to heaven or hell, and we only want to go to heaven. The only thing that's similar is he floated down the Mississippi on a raft, and we came here from England on the boat, the Mayflower. So, yeah, he's not the ideal American character, and he's kind of ungrateful, and he's a liar, and that's a sin. So, yeah.
Hello, my name is Mark Twain, representing as always. I strive. Shut up, bro.
You shut up.
I'm doing a video for my project.
Oh, sorry.
Shut up, I'm literally Mark Twain. The American character is ever changing. You can Google, show me this guy's ball. And my final example was Huck writing the letter to Miss Watson to attempt to turn Jim back in, because he's constantly struggling with what he believes and what he feels to be right in his heart throughout the book, because he believes in his heart that Jim is also a human. I mean, obviously, but he believes that Jim is also a human. He sees him as an equal to him, and yet the only thing keeping him from truly seeing Jim as an equal is his struggle with how he was brought up, and his struggle with racism, and that deep-rooted, like, slavery lover. And that's okay. That's why I think that Huck is such a perfect example of the American character, because what he believes is always changing, and he's constantly evolving, whether that's to be better or to be worse. And he is also a good representation of the American character, because he's always striving in the end to get what he wants. And that might be selfish, it might be ambitious, but he's really just a young boy that wants to be free from the rules of society. And his struggle with conventional religion, his messy past, how he sees himself, and the slave issue, and seeing Jim as a true equal and a human with feelings and a family. It's really a great representation of how the American character is always changing. Thank you.
So, I asked all these great authors what they thought about the American character in Huckleberry Finn. They gave some good answers, but it still wasn't clicking for me. Something was missing. So I decided to ask some Huckleberry Finn experts what they thought. Maybe they'll give me better answers.
My theme is going one's own way home, and I have 3 examples. The first example is when Huck leaves his father's house, Pap, because Pap beats him, and we don't want to be around abusive people in our life who bring us down. And the second one is when Huck moves away from the widow and Miss Watson because he doesn't want to follow their rules and boundaries, and they try to force a religion on him, and he doesn't want to be religious. And then in the end, Jim and Huck move in with Aunt Sally because they feel comfortable with her, and she makes them feel loved again, and Huck remembers what it's like to be cared for.
I'm Maddie Pugh, and my theme was The Outcast, and it was basically about how the human character is defined by one wanting like acceptance and validation from those around them, but also wanting and like valuing their own freedom more and how they feel about themselves more and like what they know is right in their heart. And yeah, that's basically what it was about. And then the example that I used was Huck, with how he, how whenever he was writing the letter to Miss Watson about thinking about turning Jim in, how he was writing the letter and he couldn't decide if he should like send it to her or not, but he was scared that he would go to Egypt.
Girl, talking about? Hell.
And he couldn't, like, he was torn between his brain and his heart, and he didn't want to go to hell, as Miss Watson would have defined it and would have said that would happen if he didn't turn in a runaway slave and helped a runaway slave, you know, not come back. And but he was also torn because he saw Jim as somewhat of an equal to him throughout their time together on the raft, and he saw him as a human, and he recognized that he had emotions and feelings, and he even had a family back home that he left because he didn't want to be sold down the river. And yeah, and Huck eventually was like, I'm in, I'll go to hell, and good for him. And then he ripped up the letter and he chose what he knew in his heart to be right instead of what society taught him to be right. Yeah.
My theme is death and rebirth, and I'm going to give 3 examples of it in Huck Finn. The first one is when Huck fakes his death and is not actually dead. That's a pretty obvious one. The second one is when Jim runs away and now he's not a slave but a runaway slave. And the third one is when Huck takes the money from the King and the Duke and does it to help Mary Jane and the Wilkes sisters. It shows his maturity and how he's grown a lot from the people that he cares about. And the people that he cares about, and it shows that he's kind of maturing a little bit because he was a really big fibber in the beginning, and now he's trying to kind of redeem himself. And then another sign of maturity is when he writes the letter to the widow and Miss Watson to tell them where Jim is, and then he decides that he's not going to send the letter, and he kind of realizes that friendship's more important than like looking out for yourself.
Huckleberry Finn is a true American because he exemplifies the idea that all humans have the potential for redemption. This is a theme in which I'm an expert, and Huck Finn shows this theme in many different ways throughout the book. Growing up, Huck Finn had a broken household with no mother present and an abusive and alcoholic father, yet he still made something of his life. We find Huck alongside the King and the Duke scamming the Wilkes sisters out of their fortune. And because of how Huck came to be, because of his moral code, he realized that this is wrong, I should not be doing this. And he did not just continue to go along with it. He used his chance to redeem himself by stealing the gold and hiding it in order for the sisters to have it instead of the King and the Duke. Finally, the best example of this theme from Huckleberry Finn is when he decides that he will not tell Miss Watson and Tom Sawyer where Jim is. He will instead do everything in his power to break Jim out of slavery, because he decides that he would rather go to hell than to betray his friend. Although he had been raised
in the exact opposite way to believe that this would be sending him to hell for helping a slave. He redeemed his own morality by staying true to his friends. This goes for all Americans who should be following this theme, and Huck does it very well.
Good morning. My name is Carrie Thompson, and I am an expert in the social classes of specifically Huck Finn. So what this means is whether or not a character defies or fits in their social character and why they act the way that they do. So a few characters that are a prime example of this are Pap and Jim. Pap, specifically in chapters I think 6 and 7, that's when the judge tries to culture him, essentially try to make him not become an alcoholic and try to make him become a social member and an active member of society. Obviously, as we know, this fails, which is a prime example of that he will be nothing more than white trash. Jim in chapter 14, he defies his social class by showing how educated he is and that he has morals and emotions, unlike a slave should, at least by their definition. So these are just some prime examples in the book that really encapsulate this.
Hi, I'm Sydney Maxwell, and I was an expert at the role of women in Huck Finn. There are 3 major times women popped up in the book. The first time was the widow. She was a very good mother figure for Huck. She taught him about religion, whether he believed it or not. She was a really good role model and just wanted what's best for him. The second time was the Wilkes sisters. I feel like they were kind of interpreted as soft. Their father just died, so they were kind of ditzy. They didn't really think things through. They got fooled by the Duke and the King. Huck kind of saved the day there, but I feel as if Twain kind of said that they weren't very smart. Maybe it's because they're not a man, who knows. And then the third time was the local neighbor ladies. Twain basically just said all women are for gossiping and talking about things. They don't really have a purpose to work. But obviously the times are different from back then to now. So we can kind of grasp an idea of how far women have come in this world. And we have people like the widow who kind of paved the way for women and showed us what they're really made for.
I'm an expert on the role of honor. The role of honor in Huck Finn is a central and complex theme that is intricately woven into the fabric of the narrative. Through the characters, their relationships, and their experiences, Twain shows the complexity and the uselessness that is honor. The idea of honor is also intertwined with the concept of societal expectations and the hypocrisy of prevalent societal norms. This is shown with characters such as the King and the Duke. The King and the Duke, who are con artists, demonstrate a complete lack of genuine honor and integrity, despite their outward appearance of respectability. They are characters based on stolen honor. They appear to be a king and a duke, in reality they are not. Twain uses these characters to show a falsity that is honor, and how honor is essentially people pretending to be other people for selfish reasons. Even though Twain had a negative view on the role of honor in society, he painted a glowing picture of the role of honor between Huck and Jim. The role of honor in this book is quite complex, and the way that Twain portrays honor is honest. However, he is slightly biased.
Hi, I'm Connor Wells, and I'm an expert on the theme of the human experience and change. The concept of a human being changing over time after enduring the obstacles of everyday life is very prominent within the story of Huckleberry Finn, and is a good reflection of the American character as a whole. Huck's adventures throw him into situations that greatly test his morals and beliefs. The story is centralized around personal growth and defying the status quo. Huck starts out accepting things as they are, but as he meets different people and faces various challenges, he starts to see the world differently. It's this change in Huck that reflects the evolving American character. It's always growing and reshaping itself. However, I don't believe his development is seen primarily in moments, but instead it is measured over an extent of time. Huck, in the final chapter, is virtually a completely different person than he was in the first. The details and small moments added up and shifted and blended his character into a morally orientated person instead of the practical, egotistical kid he once was. This reflects how I believe many Americans operate. They have set ideals at one point that they feel are set in stone, yet years later, due to whatever events or causes, they are a changed person more often than not. Change isn't bad, it's merely human nature, making it necessary. For Huck Finn, that implied theory holds true.
Okay, so now I've talked to authors and even Huck Finn experts, but something's still missing. I can't put my finger on it. So, what if I just talk to some random people and see what they have to say? Maybe they have something interesting to tell me about the American character.
Hey, what's up, guys? I'm in the Chick-fil-A bathroom in St. Clairsville. Just finished up at district finals for track and field. And while I was there, I decided to ask a unsuspecting track star what they thought the American character was, because no one quite knows what the American character is. Like a teenage high school student athlete. I'm here with Jacob. A question for you, Jacob, is what is an American?
Somebody who lives in the United States of America.
Can you elaborate?
You live in the United States of America, south of Canada, north of Mexico.
What do you think makes an American different from other types of people?
We're better.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
To me, an American character would be someone who values freedom, someone who values the ability to be individual. I see American characters as hardworking, someone who is willing to work for what they want, and also someone who values their belief system. American characters are generally kind and talkative as compared to other cultures, and overall hardworking individuals.
What do you need?
I need to ask you a question.
Sucks to be you then.
What is an American to you?
Someone who has freedom. And carries a shotgun. Also likes to eat McDonald's.
So after all these authors and these experts and these laymen, I gathered great information, but something was still missing. So I decided maybe I just need to watch Huckleberry Finn and see what I find out about the American character.
What are you doing? Why you got my gun?
I thought someone was coming in. I was trying to protect us.
Why didn't you wake me up?
I tried. You were sleeping. You're out cold.
I'm going to the store.
I don't want you to open it now. Something bad's happening. Do you understand me?
Huck, what's going on?
Your face is gonna give it away. You need to go to Stephanie's house and open this letter when you get here. You promise me you'll open the letter later. One more thing. To stay safe. Good luck.
Is it that way? I think so. Oh, no, it's okay. I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. I'm about sick of.
I bet you know the widow. You're so old.
I'm about sick of your talk. All right. Oh my goodness. Look at this guy.
I think you got something on your face. Where are you taking me?
It's none of your business. It's for business.
It is my business.
It's for our business.
Where are you taking me? I think I deserve to know.
Anyways, I heard about this old lady at the tavern. I think she would be a perfect target for our business. All right. What do you think?
You know, what are you planning on doing?
Don't trip, old man.
Why are you
There's a young one this time.
Oh my God. Well, if you weren't riding up my ass all the time. Oh my, what the hell is wrong with you? I don't even think we should be going to the tavern. I don't think we should go to the carnival. It's right down the road. The carnival is useless, bro. You know how many sheriffs?
There's so many other people. The sheriff aren't gonna do anything to us.
What's yapping?
What does that even mean? What is that terminology? I don't even.
You have no say in this.
Oh, you're not even allowed to talk. You don't even know what we're doing. You don't even know what we're about to do. You don't even know who the old lady is. Oh my. I'm not going to hear your voice. Hey, you better watch what you do around me. I own you. Oh my goodness.
I swear, it's right over here. I swear, I'm not lying to you. Do you even know where we're going?
I do know where we're going.
Are you sure? Because it don't seem like it.
I don't think I know where we're going.
Oh, it's all right, man.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I thought for sure I knew where we were going. Tavern right over here.
Well, we do know the carnival that way, ain't it?
You want to go to the carnival?
Well, I mean, it seems like that's our only option.
All right. You know, you ain't so bad, man.
Oh, I could say the same for you, man. You know, where'd that boy go?
Oh, whatever.
Where's Jim at? Jim! Jim! Jim, where are you? Jim! Jim!
Oh, all right.
Have you seen Jim?
Who the hell's Jim?
Jim, you know Jim, like Jim.
Who's Jim?
Anyone? Have you seen anyone?
Anyone? I mean, now that you mention it, I mean, I saw a runaway slave.
Jim. Jim?
That's your buddy?
Jim!
Well, I saw someone with him.
Who?
It looked like I saw him on the handbill a couple of weeks ago, matter of fact, $400.
Who was with him?
I don't know, an old man.
Old?
Like, he had like a funny hat on and black pants, like a plaid shirt.
Jim! Jim! Jim!
It's not a good idea, Huck.
Who are you?
I'm your heart. Jim isn't just a slave or a black man. He's your friend. You can't get rid of your friend. You can't turn your back on your friend.
What should I do?
You know exactly what you should do.
Who are you?
I'm your brain.
you should give him back. I mean, that's where he belongs anyway. You know, it's probably better for him there than anywhere else.
Not a good idea.
How do you know what's a good idea?
Because I know what's right. It doesn't need to make sense for it to be right. How do you know what's good for him?
Because this is exactly what's supposed to happen.
He needs to follow his heart. Not everything needs to make sense.
He's a slave!
It
Slaves belong in the field! They don't!
Then I'll go to hell!
Wow. What a great movie, huh? I mean, geez, that King and Duke, boy, they sure are handsome, but... And something was off about that Huck Finn, but I'm not sure what. Anyways, I think I finally got the answer I was looking for. You know, the American character in Huck Finn. Took me a long time, talking to a lot of authors and experts and even random dudes, finally watching that great movie. But I think I finally get it, you know? So let me just cinematically walk off into the cloudy 3 p.m. sunset.